G'day everyone, I know it's been a while. It's me, the anti-theocrat, back with another one. I've been homeschooling and, well, in isolation with a wife who's no longer working and a son who I'm homeschooling. And, well, school holidays are here now, so I don't even have that to give me anything to rest on. I'm going to try and knock out a few videos because I've got so much built up here. All the people who thought that the social justice world and the feminist world was going to shut up because they have proven to be irrelevant. I think again, these people don't know what it means to shut up. So anyway, I'm going to try and cover these one article at a time because I think it's the only way I can do this. There might be a lot of crossovers in what's covered with these articles and my responses to them, but I think that's the only way I can do this. So, Article 1 of this lock-in series. Yes, Teen Vogue, and here's, I think this is a girl who starred in something once. I think she's still getting roles, but, you know, does anyone know what they are? In any case, Emma Watson, I'm flicking my own bean Watson, shares how to step up for the community in isolation. The community. I wonder which community that is she's talking about. Remember, this is Emma, I flick my own bean Watson, who can't form relationships, but she's going to tell us about communities we can step up for during this time of isolation. So let's get down to it, shall we? Actor and activist Emma, I flick my own bean Watson, has long used Instagram as an influential platform to champion issues such as sustainable fashion, okay, the privileges of the rich and well-to-do, reproductive rights, not bad for someone who's flicking her own bean and says that she's probably going to stay that way. Isn't she in a relationship with herself? Does she call it? I'll just call it flicking her own bean. And, you know, of course, the craziest of all crazies, intersectional feminism. A thought leader for her 55 million followers. No, she's a thought follower because she's not said anything that was original or outstandingly important. But her 55 million followers, I assume, are as ignorant as she is. So they probably have no idea that she's saying nothing new. Many of whom grew up with Watson. Yeah, they knew her when she was in a movie once. Whose star began ascending at the age of 9. Yeah, and there it is. She has no life experience worth any of us giving consideration to. She started at the age of 9 being so wealthy that most of us cannot even dream of that level of wealth. At 9, she stopped being human. At 9, she started being a celebrity. At 9, she stopped having the influences of the world help her to become a balanced person, which is why she's flicking her own bean, I suspect. And I'm going to keep going back to that because, remember, this is somebody who's telling us about how to step up for some community while in isolation. Anyway, she has now backed the hashtag Stay Home campaign to stop the spread of coronavirus. I don't give a fuck what celebrities are doing. I am backing staying home myself because, let's face it, I don't want your fucking disease. And I'd rather that if I had it, you didn't get it from me. Lucky for me, I live in a place that hasn't suffered any infection, and in a country that may soon stop getting new cases. Well, we'll import them, won't we, like everyone else? But in any case, why do I care what a celebrity is doing? Really, these people are so privileged it's ridiculous. They don't need to earn much. She never needs to earn another dollar for the rest of her life. She can ask other people to do her shopping for her. She can have everything delivered to the door for the rest of her life. But, you know, they can stay at home. They've got their mansion and all their entertainment and all the rest of it. And she's got her own bean to flick. She's fine. She's been doing that for a while. Anyway, Watson posted a makeshift sign that underlined the message that self-isolation saves lives. My grandma is over 70, so particularly vulnerable, she said. My mum is a type 1 diabetic, and my best friend is a healthcare professional. Well, yeah, good. I stay at home for them. Yeah. What a fucking sob story. I stay at home because it's good for the sake of humanity. The fact that my grandmother is over 100 years old and still fucking kicking doesn't mean I get to say, oh, when she dies, I don't have to worry about it anymore. Can we accept the fact this is more than just the people around us? Of course, she's a celebrity. What's she know about real people or the reality of the world? She then shared a few ways to step up for your community during these rough times, which she borrowed from Michelle Obama. So, now depending where you're going from, she borrowed this from a man or a woman. But again, not a single fucking word of her own material. Everything this thing does is scripted for her by somebody else. Number 1, call your parents, you know, who are fighting out this new normal, advised Watson via Grant Gold Illustrated cards. What? Grant Gold's Illustrated? What? Fucking hell. So, I'm going to have to read this again. Number 1, call the parents you know who are fighting out this new normal, advised Watson via Grant Gold's Illustrated cards. Did she get a commercial offer for making this statement from Grant Gold's Illustrated cards? Did she get paid to make this statement? Fuck, I wish I could get paid to stay at home and make these bloody statements. I don't know, you stingy lot. You never give me your money. I got to tell you, that's your money. You want to give it to me for putting these you call them videos? I guess I call it a video. Look, it's got a moving thing in it. Together, then, yeah. Fair enough. At least I worked for it. These were just celebrity kickbacks, I guess. Offer to give their kids a lesson or read a story. So I'm meant to be calling other people to offer to give their kids lessons or read a story. In isolation, am I doing it over the phone or am I doing it via Skype? What's the deal? Do I go around to these people's place and break my isolation? Excuse me. It's the corona. It's the old cough I haven't been able to shake for a bit. She then turned her attention to local businesses and advised people to buy gift certificates for hairstylists, nail technicians and barbers. What you want people to go to these things now? As though that what's the deal? I mean, these shops shouldn't even be open, should they? What the fuck are you walking into these shops for anyway? They're not bloody critical. These places should be in lockdown. You're telling people to stay home, but you want hairstylists and nail technicians and barbers to be at work. Now, here in Australia, hairdressers are actually being given the green light to keep running. And I sort of understand it to some degree. I mean, there's a few places with more chemicals and sterilisation going on. But really? This is what you're promoting? We all drop off down to the nail technician and get a gift certificate? What's that? To encourage our friends to break their isolation too? In order to keep them afloat. Look, I can't keep everyone's business afloat, okay? I've got my own business. It's managing to stay afloat. And if it wasn't, I would have to recalculate what I'm doing in the interim to try and survive. But I can't support every other bloody business. And you're talking about nail technicians. Really, give a tenner to the ambulance guy when you see him up the street, when you're doing your groceries. If you can, go online and make a donation to your local food bank, she said. All right. I'd sort of go with that. At least you're helping out. But, again, you're encouraging other people to not be in their isolation. And I'm guessing these people have to run things anyway. But, bloody hell. These recommendations are so fucking stupid, it's ridiculous. They really are. I just don't know what... Emma, we're in isolation. In the interim, this is the future for months to come, probably. One more thing. The recommendations continued. Be gentle with yourself and take a break. It's normal to feel overwhelmed and afraid. I think the problem with most people is they are taking a break. I think this staying at home and doing bugger all is driving people up the wall. I was talking to my mother earlier today because I called her mother and spoke to her. I didn't offer to read anything for her kids. I can read for myself, thanks. And my brother can deal out his own shit too. But I was talking to my mum, and she was saying that, the police are busy with the increase in domestic violence. And I'm thinking, yeah, I sort of accept that there is going to be an increase with people locked in the house together. But, and strangely enough, I live in a neighbourhood where you would really expect to be hearing it, and I'm not. So maybe it's not as bad as all that. I don't know. But I can accept that there's going to be some increase in domestic violence. What I want to know is why I'm not hearing case reporting. I'm not hearing how the police are responding or what they're responding to. Because my bet is that women trapped in the house with their partners and their kids are going fucking insane and going off the rails at everybody else. And I would bet this is more about those women going off the rails than the men creating more violence. Because those of us who are not violent in our relationships, and me and my partners, as an example, we don't suddenly become violent because we're locked in together. It just doesn't suddenly become a violent relationship. The violence in relationships is there or it isn't. It is rarely something that can be... You could have more heated arguments. And I'm telling you now, coronavirus has been a great one for us. One of us is a Chinese national. So there have been heated discussions around issues at this time. But we're not fighting. There's no violence. And even the heated arguments are just heated arguments. I think the problem is people are being forced to take a break. Think about that for a minute, Emma. Think about that. What you should be telling people, and what I've been telling people, is find yourself a fucking hobby. Get yourself something to do. Shit, I bought a bloody pottery wheel and clay, because my clay's gone dry, but I had some clay. But I bought new clay and a pottery wheel. I'm going to take my son and I'm going to teach him to throw pots. I also bought some low fire clay, as I don't have a kiln. So we can actually fire some stuff in the oven for him, just to make some permanent shit as well as the stuff we're going to throw and rethrow. Find yourself a hobby. Find yourself something to do. Sitting around doing bugger all will kill you. It's normal to feel overwhelmed and afraid. I've got nothing. It's okay to log off. No, see, it's okay to say I need help. Find yourself a distraction. Emma, you're flicking your own bean. Advise people to flick their bean to, entertain themselves for a while. Telling them to sit around and do nothing, take a break, is exactly the problem. None of us are living our normal lives. We are all taking an extended break. And you got this from Michelle Obama. Depending on where you're from, man or a woman, I'm not judging. So yes, this was stolen directly from someone else. Someone else who obviously has no fucking idea what reality is like for people. Watson has previously shared her experiences in dealing with anxiety as a young adult. Yeah, I'm such an anxious young millionairess. Oh, it's terrible. Before her 30th birthday, on April 15, important stuff, she told British Vogue, I feel so stressed and anxious. Look, love, get yourself in a steady relationship. Lend your life to someone else. Give them your time and your space. Encourage them to give their time and space to you. Find some meaning in your life. A family really does it. It really does. I thought I'd always be single. It didn't bother me. But I settled. And it really does give you something else to do with your life. And the stresses and worries of a relationship are different from when you're single. And when they're single, you've got no one else to lean on. But in a good relationship, you've got other people to lean on, or at least another person to lean on. Your bean's not going to answer you when you've got problems and you say, little bean, if I flick you some more, will you make me feel better? And you know that bean flicking's only short-lived, and it has no emotional release. And I realise it's because there is suddenly this bloody influx of subliminal message around. Yeah, bullshit. If you've not built a home, if you do not have a husband, if you do not have a baby, and you are turning 30, yeah, who the fuck's telling you this shit? And you're not in some incredibly secure, stable place in your career. Look, bitch, you don't need a career. You've got so much money, I could live on your money for the rest of my life without needing another fucking cent. Trust me, I could. Because I don't have this ability to even imagine spending masses of money. I just can't. It's not in me. But you've been rich since you were 9 years old. Not as rich with the first movie as with the last one, admittedly. But you've had money since you were 9 years old. I was 15 when I started cleaning safari buses for a bloody living. I've never had money. I can't imagine spending big money. I have no need to spend big money. My life is quite well balanced with my family and what I have. If you don't know, yeah, anyway, I'd like to know who's telling you this shit and who's making it subliminal. I would almost bet that your mum has said these things to your face. But yes, I don't know why you don't have a home. Again, there's that money issue. I don't think this is a problem for you. If you really wanted to, you could buy property. You could establish a home. You could do that without a husband. You could import someone else's kids. Adopt. You've got the money. You've got the funds. As we enter a period of... oh, hang on. We'll dive back. I'm missing the insecure... Yes, who gives a shit? As we enter a period of lockdown across the globe, it's easy to feel powerless. Yeah, right. With your money. Try being on my budget. But messages like Watson's maintain a sense of community No, I believe she stole that. It's not her message. If only virtually. No, she actually suggested getting gift certificates from the local stylists, and I don't know many of those places that would have. Maybe at her end of the market they have online shopping for gift certificates, but here in town, I'm not going to find one of those. I will have to walk into the shop and ask for a gift certificate, and they'll write me something on a piece of paper, because I doubt they have them just laying around. Maybe they do, but I doubt I could still go online and get them. In fact, most of those shops should be closed or copying heavy fines. So no, she didn't only say virtually. She said go out and shop. When we're alone. Well, no. As Obama said, yes, that's where it comes from. She stole every word. Said the above is by no means an exhaustive list. I fucking hope it's not, because it was dumb as shit. But it's a step towards making sure everyone looks after one another. Yeah. I'm just not interested. Just not fucking interested. By the way, Emma wants people to rethink their romantic relationships, and no, I'm not going to open it. But I thought it was interesting that the person who wants to spend her life flicking her own bean wants to tell people how to rethink their romantic relationships. She hasn't got one. She doesn't know how to create one. But she thinks she can advise the rest of us on what to do with one. That's where I'm leaving this one. I don't know. It was just a bit of a rant. I just wanted to read through the story and drag you over the shit that's been going through my feed. That's it. I'll move on to the next one. Part 2 of the Lock-In video series. I've been the Anti-Theocrat. May your gods remain fictional, and I will see you in the next one.